The Barricade HD Tire Carrier with mount is for those of you that have a 2007 and up JK that are looking for a tub-mounted tire carrier. Now there are a couple different tire carrier options, the two main ones being a bumper-mounted or a tub-mounted. The benefit to a tub-mounted like this is that you still have one-handed opening and closing of the tailgate. You use the regular latch, it opens and closes instead of the bumper-mounted where you first have to open the tire carrier and then open the tailgate. So that's one thing to consider. The other is the fact that with a tub-mounted tire carrier like this, you can run whatever bumper you want. You aren't pigeonholed into only running a bumper that has a tire carrier on it. So if that is the flexibility and freedom and functionality that you're looking for, a tub-mounted tire carrier is going to be a really nice choice for you. Now this one in particular is going to be a very easy tire carrier to install. Definitely a 1 out of 3 wrench installation, completely bolt-on, no need to drill, cut, or otherwise modify your Jeep. And you'll be able to get this bolted up in less than 2 hours, but we'll talk more about that installation in just a second. Now the whole reason that you would want to run any kind of tire carrier, whether it be a tub-mounted or a bumper-mounted, is because when you put a large, heavy aftermarket spare tire in that factory location on the factory spare tire mount, you can really cause a couple of different issues, 3 main issues. One of those is that the hinges can start to wear out, which will cause the whole tailgate to sag. You'll have to pick up on the tailgate every time you open it or close it. The second is that the welds that hold the tailgate together themselves can start to fatigue and fail, separating the tailgate, and you'll get a nasty rattle. And finally, the tire carrier itself is just some fairly mild steel, not very thick. It's designed to hold a factory spare tire and not a larger, heavier aftermarket spare tire. So if you are going to be running something that's bigger and heavier, you are going to be pushing the limits of that tire carrier. So by going with an aftermarket setup like this, you're going to be solving all 3 of those problems. This is going to come with a new set of hinges, this is going to be your tailgate reinforcement, and over here you have your brand new tire mount itself. So all of the weak links of that factory system are going to be removed. So when are you going to want to run something like this? Even if you just are running a 33, a 35, or a 37-inch tire, if it's a big wide tire, if it is a heavy wheel and tire combination, I would recommend beefing up your tire carrier, either a tub mounted like this or a bumper mounted carrier. And it's important to remember that we're talking about weight here, but this is also going to solve the issue of space. So when you're running a wider spare, you're running a wheel with less back spacing, you're going to still be able to get that wheel and tire package nice and tight up against the tailgate, so you're not going to have any rattling or any torquing around. So again, something like this really solves a lot of problems. This one in particular from Barricade is going to be a little bit less expensive than some of those other options out there. It's not going to be made out of lightweight aluminum like some of the others, but it is still going to be packed full of features and will save you some money over some of those other tire carriers out there. As far as construction goes, this is going to be made out of 5mm hot rolled steel, and that is one of those things that makes this different from some of the more expensive tub-mounted tire carriers out there. This is steel, some of the others are aluminum, so they'll save you a little bit on weight. But even though this is going to be a little bit heavier, it still has features that some of the more expensive tire carriers don't even have, and we'll touch on that in just a second. Right here you have the hinges, and again, that's going to solve one of the big problems of running a bigger and heavier spare in that factory location, the hinges failing. These are going to be much beefier, much stronger than those factory hinges, so those are going to hold up a lot better to the additional weight of a big heavy spare. A section in the middle here is going to be your main tailgate reinforcement, and that is also going to tie right into the hinges. This setup here essentially makes it so that the tailgate is hanging off of this reinforcement piece instead of the tire hanging off of the tailgate. It really flips that whole relationship, and that's where all of the strength is going to come from. This also will accept your factory third brake light, which is a nice feature. You're not having to purchase another brake light. You're not even really going to have to cut up your factory brake light. You can bolt it right into the bracket that's included in this kit. And then finally over here you have your mount, your tire mount. Why this is important is because it's adjustable in not one but 2 different ways through the use of some slotted mounting holes. And what it's going to allow you to do is move the tire up and down. So if you're running a heavy 33, you can slide that all the way down, get it as low to the bumper as possible, giving you the maximum viewing out the back window of the Jeep. But if you're running a 37, you can raise it up a little bit so that it's not going to make contact with the bumper. So you have that up-down adjustability. But maybe what's more important is in and out adjustability. So whether you're running a 1050, 1250, or even a 1450 tire on a wheel, that has varying back spacing, you're still going to be able to make sure everything's gonna fit, but going to fit tightly. You wanna make sure that your tire is pressed up against this tailgate reinforcement here. You wanna actually make sure there's a little bit of a sidewall pressure, a little bit of a sidewall indent to make sure everything's pulled nice and tight so that the tire, the carrier, the tailgate, the tub, everything is one piece. That's how you're gonna make sure you don't have any rattles, but also make sure you're not going to have any sort of metal fatigue from things moving and torquing around when you're hitting bumps on road and off road. So this being two-way adjustable is a very, very important part of this whole setup. And when I said before, some of the options that are even more expensive than this aren't two-way adjustable, that's what I was talking about. So the two-way adjustability is huge with this piece. As for the install, definitely a 1 out of 3 wrench installation. This is something you can get installed in about 2 hours or less. The first step is taking off your factory spare tire, take off that factory spare tire mount, hang on to that hardware. You are going to be reusing some of it. At this point, you're going to shim the tailgate so that it doesn't fall or move when you remove those factory hinges. Then you can pop the plastic covers off the hinges, remove the hinges themselves, bolt the new ones up, attach the tailgate reinforcement piece to the hinges and to the tailgate itself, and then you'll attach the tire mount to the tailgate reinforcement piece. You can attach your third brake light at that time, finally attaching your tire to it in order to make all of your final adjustments. Again, you want to make sure that this is set so the tire's nice and tight and as low as possible. As for price, this is going to come in at $350, and I do think that's going to be a pretty good deal when you compare it to some of the others. When you look at the option from TerraFlex, for instance, that's going to be an all aluminum model, so it's going to be a little bit lighter, but also significantly more expensive. If you're looking for the weight savings, that is going to be a good way to go. Or if you look at Rugged Ridge, their option is still going to be a little bit more expensive than this, but it's not two-way adjustable, it's only single adjustable. So I do think that you're getting a good bit of value for the cost when you look at this option from Barricade. So if you're looking for a tub-mounted tire carrier to carry a larger and heavier spare than what comes on your Jeep from the factory, I would definitely recommend taking a look at this option from Barricade, and you can find it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.